time for our special guest here in this second intermission. We have Zach Hodder of Player Development for the Western Hockey League. Zach, how are you doing today, man?
Doing very well, Gino.
Awesome.
I'm happy you got the name right that time.
I know. Don't call me Zane Hodder either. But either way, we're at the Alberta Cup. Obviously, a great event for the Western Hockey League. The Alberta Cup's such an intriguing event to me. You're seeing the best kids in the Bantam level and their development. It's a great assessment tool for all scouts in the area. It's all for GMs, and of course, all leads up to the Bantam draft here in Red Deer next week.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity too for a lot of kids to play with players they haven't played with in a long time, and it's a good opportunity for everybody to see how they can come together in short-term competition. I mean, some of these kids have played on, an example of the Calgary Bisons, who are one of the top teams in the NBHL all year, and they're playing with kids who are on Lethbridge and Okotoks and teams that didn't have the same success they did. So for our scouts, it's a good opportunity for them to see players playing with different types of players, seeing how they can come together quickly, and seeing how much they can make an impact in such a short tournament.
Absolutely, and with the draft, it kind of all leads to the draft, and then of course we always have it doesn't matter where you go in the draft or if you're listed by the Western League, you still have the opportunity, and that's what this was what the Alberta Cup is all about, is player development.
Yeah, the most important thing we tell players from the league perspective is the draft is one day in your development process. The draft doesn't define the player you do. 25% of the Western Hockey League is made up of guys that were never drafted. Shea Weber, Jamie Benn, Dan Hamhuis. Myself, I was a first-round pick.
I'll say you're a first-round.
I was a first-round pick, and now
5 years, right? 5 years.
First 5 seasons in the Western
Absolutely.
League. But I mean, look where I am now. Like, just because you're a first-round pick, it doesn't mean you're going to be going on to the NHL. It doesn't mean anything. It really comes down to the type of player you are and the type of person you are.
And the one thing I do want to is not just the Western League itself, but I do a lot of research on this myself, is the WHL scholarship program, that what you guys offer for these kids, no matter what happens, when it's an educational contract or not. It's a pretty good deal for kids. It doesn't just include Western Canada either, where these kids can go to school.
So the way the scholarship works is pretty simple. It's for every year you play in the Western League, you get a year of tuition, textbooks, and compulsory fees paid for by your league. I was talking with Gary Davidson just this morning, who's the GM of the Everett Silvertips, and the way he says it is every player that plays in Everett is a student athlete on scholarship, because once they graduate from the league, they have that opportunity to go to school wherever they choose to go to school to. You don't have to play hockey once you finish playing in the Western Hockey League, but if you do choose to go to school, there's a lot of great places to go. U of A here in Alberta, I mean, they're every single year in the national championship, so you're still playing hockey at an elite level, taking advantage of that academic opportunities that are there for you.
Absolutely. And with the Alberta Cup itself, I kind of just look back to really, it's like you said, one day, it's a long tournament. What do you remember about I can't remember if you're experiencing the Alberta Cup, but what do you take from this Alberta Cup experience? It's 4 days, it's a crash course. Some of these players are, this is a second game for Team Blue, and we saw Team Green earlier today. They played 2 games. You really get to kind of test all types of character in this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For myself, I grew up in Vancouver, so I was in what was then called BC Best Ever. It's now called BC Cup. But I think the number one thing I see is just, how much work Hockey Alberta has actually put into this. It's incredible. You walk in, the Hockey Alberta branding is everywhere. They really promote their players. They really promote players that have recently gone through the program as well. If you look on the rink boards and the glass, these are O2 players that were just playing for Team Alberta. And, it's just an incredible opportunity for these kids to come in and see, hey, I'm here right now, but in a few years I could be in the Western League. And even more recent example would be Kirby Doc, Peyton Krebs, Bowen Byram. Oof. Those are guys that were all here 4 or 5 years ago that are going to be first-round picks in the NHL this year.
The fact that they were here 5 years ago kind of scares me, and the fact that the goal song for Team Alberta Blue is by Eiffel 65 Blue. Nobody was even born when that song came out on that roster, at least for players in that case. But Zach Hodder, Player Development for the Western Hockey League, thanks for being here, and nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your
Thanks
name
for
wrong
having
me. We'll be back with more Alberta Cup action on hnlive.ca and abcup.ca, and it's be Team Red and Team Blue tied at 1.